Yeah.
Okay, so look, check it out. It's my solar return. It's my B day today. Happy B day to me. All right, so look, check it out. I'm starting a new segment, right? And this segment is it's probably gonna change in its name, but what I came across or what I came up with was Tales from the Crypt, right? Now, before starting these segments, I want to preface it. You know what I'm saying? In these segments, you'll be getting to know a lot about me. One-on-one conversations, shit like that, right? Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because it needs to be done. One, two, say for instance, right, in life, your story is your testimony. It's meant to be shared so other individuals who are going through what you're going through can have some reference points, some ideas of what to expect, as well as some motivation to either make it through, get through, or become something more or greater. So this is what that's about. This is not dedicated or aimed towards people who are lost. This is not dedicated or aimed towards people who don't know, and who aren't trying to know. Um, this isn't dedicated or aimed towards anyone who's um fighting the information. This is more so take it like science fiction at the bare minimum. Let it roll off your back like science fiction, like sci-fi. Right? All right. So we're gonna get to it. Uh One of the first things that I want to discuss and or talk about is opinions. People's opinions, how they think, how they feel, and we'll narrow it down. People's opinions about me, how they feel, what they think about me. Um, on a There are a lot of positives, but we'll talk about the negatives real quick. I'm aware of what people try to hide. Not stupid. Like it's in their face. It's written in their face. I'm aware. Let's start it right here. Did you know that the first mental asylums or mental institutions were created after the World War, after the reset? And the people that they put into the mental institutions were put there because they knew the truth, not because they were crazy. Did you know that? Go do your research on the first, what I'm saying, mental asylums. Go look up the date when you can trace back the original or one of the first mental asylums, and then go match that date with world events, and you'll see that I'm not lying. People try to deem people crazy when they can't control them, when they can't be like them, control them, or access the level that they've accessed, right? Or in the case where I just said, to silence individuals. The first mental institutions were created right around when the Cabbage Patch Kids were created, when they were repopulating the earth. Do your research. Not just saying this out my ass. Like you can research this shit. Like you know what I'm saying? So does it make it wrong for me to know the information, or is it wrong that you don't know the information? Does it make it weird that I know the answer to that, or does it make it weird that you never heard that before? People will try to make you weird, make you seem like you're weird, when actually the word weird means wired differently. So by that definition, yeah, I am weird. I'm wired differently than you motherfuckers. Now, like I said before, this isn't this these videos are targeted to individuals who are currently going through similar things or on their spiritual paths or entertained by spirituality. Not for people who are fighting the information or because here's the thing. I don't care about opinions. And we'll talk about the opinions, but I don't care about people's opinions about me. That's how I got to where I'm at. You don't become successful by you caring about what people think about you. In fact, that's the number one default for all celebrities. They give you fame and then they take it away from you by slandering you publicly. I've already been publicly slandered. You can't take away anything that you didn't give. I earned this on my own. I got it up out of the mud. So you can't take fame away from me. You know what I'm saying? You can't take away the infamy from me. You can't take away my star power, my celebrity, or my fame. You know what I'm saying? Because you never gave it to me. So staying on topic, I'm aware that people think I'm crazy. You think I give a fuck? I don't. I'm aware that people think that I should be in a mental institution, that I've jumped off the deep end. My own fucking uncle thinks that Lewis, my father's brother, he had the fucking nerve to tell me, yeah, ever since that ex bitch, that last bitch you had, you just never was the same. Bitch, you never knew me. How dare you have such a profound opinion about someone you never knew? You know what I'm saying? See, that's the thing. People want you to stay the same. People want you to stay in a fucking box. You know what I'm saying? But that's not growth. That's not evolution. You know what I'm saying? People want to call you crazy, want to say that you're weird, want to say that, and I've not gotten into the topic yet, but we're addressing this real quick. People want to say that you're crazy, you're weird, you lost your mind, you're possessed, but they don't say that shit about Oprah. That wasn't crazy for that bitch to ask y'all for money when that bitch got all the money. People don't want to call it crazy, all these fires. That's not crazy. They want to pick on you. You know what I'm saying? They want to have something to talk and gossip about. And I don't give a fuck about gossip. Gossip isn't true. See, that's the thing. That's what power comes from. That's true power. That's one of the forms of power, one of the forms of true power. When you stop giving a fuck about people's opinions, then you can successfully be you authentically. You can be authentically you when you stop caring about what other people may say, what they may think, what they may say, how they may take what you're saying. Fuck it. Fuck them. Just say that shit. You know what I'm saying? People said Michael Jackson was a pedophile until later on they found out that he was actually bringing the kids to Neverland so they didn't go to fucking Epstein Island. You know, the generation that you live in may not get what you're talking about. And that's fine. That's called being ahead of your time. But don't say your shit just because they may not get it. The next generation needs to hear that. You know how many fucking songs that were made by artists that didn't catch on when it was made, but the generations later needed that? I do this because it's needed, not because I'm seeking for attention or I want approval. I've validated myself. I don't need the validation of other individuals, especially humans. These niggas is humans. Humans, basic. You know what I'm saying? Ain't shit special about these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to keep in all my uniqueness because it may be perceived in a different way. Fuck how it's perceived. Now, let's get into some of the interesting stuff, right? Um, hmm. All right, so some of the interesting stuff is um let's start there. Um, biolocatability, being omnipresent, being in more than one place at once, right? Um, as well as residing in both worlds, living in both worlds at the same time. Now, if you find yourself being an individual who resides in both realms, Now, how can how you be like, okay, well, how do I know if I reside in both realms? What do you mean by residing in both realms? Are you a dreamer? Is the reality there more real than the reality here? Other people wouldn't be able to know that for you, nor would you be able to express the validity of that to someone who's never experienced it. You know what I'm saying? But those who have experienced it know exactly what you're talking about. And it's not as few as people would like to believe. It's far and great in between, not few and many, or few and little, right? Um, Residing in both realms, right? Uh, Me, I'm an individual who resides in both realms. What are some of the receipts for that? What are some of the facts? How do I prove that? Well, first off, I don't have anything to prove, protect, hide, or defend. That's why I live life how I live life. I'm in creation mode. I'm a creator. I can create because I have nothing to prove, protect, hide, or defend. When you're trying to prove things, protect stuff, hide, and defend, you can never be a creator. You can never be in creation mode because your brain is being overran by those programs. But back to an individual who resides on both realms. When you're coming back to this realm, the quote unquote realm of the living, um, it's difficult for you to get back here because right before you get back here is someone always trying to take you out because you're not supposed to be there. You're there, but you're not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh shit, that's like if you walk into the store with a dog and the dog isn't a service dog, security's gonna catch you on the way in or way out, or someone's gonna notice that because you stand out like a sore thumb. There are certain requirements to be in certain spaces, and you don't fit that requirement. So on your way out, you might get stopped. The motherfucker might, hey, or your way in, hey, where's your credentials? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you got that dog in here for? Dogs can't come here. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You're in a space and place to where one would say you don't have credentials. What are the credentials? You have a body. People with bodies are they're not supposed to be on that. You can only experience that part or side very shortly by briefly looking or by transitioning or dying. But there are individuals who walk the plane who reside in both spaces. You know what I'm saying? How kooky that may seem, crazy that may seem, it is what it is. That's what's going down. That's what's going on down here. Now you'll get some people who will try to be like, "Oh, you lost your mind, you crazy, put them in a mental home." I just told you what those are for, so you would only be validating what the fuck I'm talking about for people who know what the fuck they're talking about. Yeah, it becomes hard for you. They try to make it difficult for you to get back to your body, to get back to your vehicle, to get back to your vessel, right? So under the Tales from the Crypt Act, we'll just jump into one of these stories real quick, right? Or one of the instances. So I'm trying to come back to my body one time, right? Come back here, wake up. This is what y'all call it, right? Trying to wake up and shit, right? And as I'm trying to come back to my body, I'm laying in my bed, and then okay, so I'm laying in the bed, and as I'm laying in the bed, there's in front of me, and then there's behind me. Behind me is a wall, right? And I can see the entire room, and I'm not. That's called remote viewing, astral traveling. There's a lot of words for it, right? Um, can see the room. My eyes are closed though. I can see the entirety of the room. And as I'm trying to get back into my body, I can feel my soul being trying to be snatched out, trying to be like as it's going in my body, I can feel the energetic pull trying to pull me back the other way. Oh, whoa, what the fuck? Right? And I get back in my body and I get up, right? Shake it off, right? Now, when I got up, it was like, shit. Now, this isn't the first time, you know what I'm saying? I've experienced, you see these, I've seen shit. I've been through shit. I've experienced shit. You know what I'm saying? So, this is not the first time I've seen or experienced no shit like that. So, it didn't really rock me, but I was like, oh shit, okay. That was kind of crazy, right? That was kind of trippy. didn't expect that to happen, right? So then, as I'm laying there and it's wrestling with me, some say turn around. I turn over in the bed and I look towards the wall, and by the bed there's lined up on the side of the bed. There's things on the side of my bed. There's a video game, an arcade system, and then a bunch of presents that I got. They're on the side of the bed. So there's a lot to without can't say it without saying, right? So instantly what I thought and what I figured or what I found, you know what I'm saying? Okay, first thing that came to my head was who gave those to you? That's how it be picking, that's how it be linking for me and picking out for me. You know what I'm saying? And then like you can further deduce from that, that's probably an energy of an individual who's trying to take parts from you or away from you or removed from you. In a basic level or a basic explanation, who did you get those gifts from? Okay. Those gifts are tied to someone who's trying to remove something from you that's vital or important. That's some heavy shit. Then you check it with the receipts. Well, is that true? Have I realized or seen? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, people will try to say that what you're going through or what you have is a defect or a flaw, but they don't have it. So how would they know? On top of, they're probably jealous. They're probably scared because you have abilities that other people don't possess. You know what I'm saying? That's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? You don't shut the fuck up and not express what you're going through. If you don't tell your story, who the fuck will? Somebody else who don't know, who didn't live it. Next thing you know, you're gonna have a documentary on Lifetime, and motherfucker telling your story, and it's a bullshit ass story. Next thing you know, you're gonna have a Michael Jackson movie. Motherfuckers telling you what they want other people to know and hear. You're gonna have a fucking Aaliyah documentary, a Whitney Houston documentary. They're gonna be slandering your name, calling you crazy and all this stuff because you never spoke up. You never said the truth. You never said what was real, what was really happening, what was really going on. Now, mind you, you know what I'm saying? Let's speak on this real quick. Another ability that I have is I'm a healer. It's obvious. You know what I'm saying? That it's obvious for people who are healers. It's obvious for people who are aware of what healers are, and it's obvious for people who aren't from America. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't live like how we live life. They still have some of the original codings. They still live life in its original way of living, aboriginal shit like that. They're still in tune, still connected, right? Other people have been what? Disconnected. If you haven't had cable or you haven't had a source of television in over 20 years, you wouldn't know what the fuck is on TV. And you're out of date. You can't keep up with nobody who's conversating about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck would you know? You wouldn't. Um, one of the abilities that I have is I'm a healer. I have the ability to heal. Even by the book, like even by the book that a lot of people read in their religion, it says, "Physician, heal thyself." What are you doing? Heal yourself. How do you do that? By Reiki, by healing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't fuck with the doctor. I don't go to doctors. You know what I'm saying? One, because they have me on their wall. I'm that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? When you hit a level of intelligence that is beyond, it could scare people. So what? Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're peaking. You know what I'm saying? You know a lot. You know what I'm saying? And what does it say? The people perish for the lack of knowledge. Yeah, no, I'm not. I shall not be perishing for lack of knowledge. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It says, "Physician, heal thyself." And then on top of that, when you go to the hospital, they have me on the wall. They have you on the wall. What do I mean by that? They're trying to change, they're trying to fuck with shit. Remember when the Caduceus staff that was on the wall had two snakes up it? Now it's one. Why have they made that change? Why have they altered that? These are people who don't have the gifts and abilities that you were born with. Who dream and wish to be who you are and are trying to kill you off by the millions and have been doing it for hundreds of years and has up until a certain point been successful in doing so. You know what I'm saying? But that's the caduceus staff. That's your spine and the energy that goes up your spine, the two snakes, the two pillars, the left and right pillar, the blue and the red pill, right? Good and bad. uh, 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 um, 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 some would say Arabic and Hebrew, or Egyptian and Sumerian. Those are the two fires or the two snakes that go up your spine. When you raise that energy, it hits this. It hits your mind's eye or the third eye, which is the circle that you see in the middle of that staff, and then the two wings are your left and your right wing of your brain. You're activated. Why would I go to them? They're not even telling me that. So why the fuck would I think that anything else that they're telling me is true or factual? I'm efficient. I'm efficient. You know what I'm saying? I don't need any outside sources to get anything done. That's efficiency. That's knowledge of self. Know thyself. Gnosis. When you watch The Matrix, over the top, the Oracle tell him when he asks, "What's that? What does that say?" It says, "Know thyself." Because if you don't know who the fuck you is, then what are you doing? Then on top of that, how can you know someone else and you don't know you? That's impossible. You can't say that, oh, I know them. Bitch, you don't know yourself. Nigga, you don't know yourself. How you know me? People want to silence you because it's comfortable for their little fucked up fairy tale worlds that they're living in. They don't want to wake up to reality and what's been going on and happening in front of their eyes. And to do so would have to mean that they've been blind. You know what I'm saying? It would mean that they're blind. So I'm going to cut this video so that most of it or some of it gets onto Instagram. And I will be, you know, making more content, making more videos. But I thought this would be a good opening. I thought that this would be a good opener to set the tone for these videos that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be talking about dreams. I'm going to be talking about experiences. I'm going to be talking about angels, spirituality. I'm going to be talking about entities. I'm going to be talking about everything that's not talked about because it's time. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be talking about powers, abilities. I'm going to be talking about people who wish to stop those. I'm going to be talking about hidden shit that happened in history. I'm going to be talking about my life story as it happened, not as I perceived it to happen. No, 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 no. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got all the stories too. All the stories. I will be giving names. I will be dropping names. If you ended up in these stories, it was your own doing, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they don't want. That's what they don't want. They don't want the stories to come out. They're used to being the storytellers or the ones who have been in charge of the narrative. But what you have to do in life is get in front of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Be in charge of your own narrative. You know what I'm saying? Control your own narrative, where you want it to go, where you want things to go. Like I said before, I can care less about what people think about me. Obviously, I cut all their ass off. And those who are coming into my life and who are manifested into my life are tried. Those who are on the same vibratorial frequency as me. But I'm not down here playing games. I'm not down here to play games. You know what I'm saying? Any genius, any person who was brilliant, ahead of their time, spoke very similar. People tried to say that they was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't control that aspect and have it work for them. What happened to Nikola Tesla? Huh? He was one of the most brilliant individuals down here. And then there was a contest between him and Albert Einstein to come up with a weapon. And then they took Albert Einstein's weapon, right? And then he famed uh Nikola Tesla, slandered him, destroyed his name so no one in his reputation, so nobody will work with him and find out he had the truth. That's how it goes. That's how they play their games. That's how the game is played. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who knows or has truth is stranger than fiction. So if what I'm saying to you doesn't sound strange, it's not the fucking truth. You know? If you're not intrigued or it slightly doesn't, oh, I never heard no shit like that before within what these episodes, these series that I drop. It's not the fucking truth. Because truth is stranger than fiction. And art imitates life. So with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one. Later, day.